So, picture this. You are the most powerful person on the entire planet. But inside your own head, there's this constant storm of anxiety, fear, and just anger. Well, that was the actual reality for the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. I mean, this guy ruled an empire that was constantly dealing with war and disease, yet somehow he found a way to achieve inner peace. So what was his secret? Well, he had a kind of mental map, a psychological armor that protected him from all that chaos. And in this breakdown, we're going to unpack that exact map so you can apply it to the battles inside your own mind. Let's get into it.
First, we're going to tackle that universal struggle we all face, the battle within our own minds. Then, we'll uncover the Emperor's secret map, which is the philosophy of Stoicism. From there, we'll see how to build our own mental fortress, how to use these tools to face real-world problems, and finally, discover the Stoic secret to living a good, meaningful life.
You know how it is. On the outside, everything might look totally fine. You're smiling, you're going to work, you're getting through the day. But inside, there's this noise that just won't let you sleep, a constant, low-level fire of anxiety and frustration. This is the battle within, and it's a struggle we all know really, really well.
That is a huge question, right? And it's one that even an emperor had to answer. We kind of think that if we just had more power or more success, all our worries would disappear. But Marcus Aurelius is proof that that's just not true. He had the entire world at his feet, but his biggest challenges were the ones raging inside his own head.
And this, right here, is the first huge realization. We chase success thinking it'll bring us peace. But the truth is, the real fight is never about what's happening around us. It's always about how we manage our internal world, our thoughts, and our emotions. That's where the war is truly won or lost.
So how did Marcus win this internal war? Well, he had a guide, a philosophy that basically served as his mental armor. And this was Stoicism. But this wasn't just a bunch of abstract ideas. It was a practical, hands-on operating system for the human mind.
Okay, imagine you're stuck in a massive traffic jam. You're going to be late for a super important meeting. Now, you could start screaming, honking the horn, getting your blood pressure up, but is any of that going to move the cars? Nope. You cannot control the traffic. What you can control is your reaction. You can take a deep breath, put on some music, and just accept the situation. The event is exactly the same, but your internal experience completely different.
And that's exactly what Stoicism is. It's a toolkit for your mind. And it's not about bottling up your emotions or pretending they don't exist. It's about understanding what's causing your distress and then having the right tools to deal with it, so you can not just survive, but actually flourish.
The absolute core of Stoicism is this idea called the dichotomy of control. It all boils down to one simple question. Is this thing in my control? If the answer is no, like the weather or what other people think of you, then wasting your energy on it is completely pointless. The root of so much of our suffering is trying to control the uncontrollable. Real power comes from focusing only on what you can control, your thoughts, your reactions, and your choices.
Okay, so once you really get what you can control, the next step is to build a mental fortress, an inner space that is absolutely untouchable by the chaos of the outside world.
This analogy just nails it. Think about a professional cricketer. They're standing in a stadium with thousands of people screaming, some cheering, some booing. If they listened to every single voice, they'd fall apart. So what do? They create a mental shield. Their focus is on one thing and one thing only, the next ball. Marcus Aurelius called this the inner citadel. It's that safe space inside you that no person or event can break into, unless you're the one who opens the door.
So how do we build this fortress? Well, we start by practicing what's called objective perception. See, our minds are like artists. They add all this color to everything. The color of fear, the color of anger, the color of anxiety. The Stoics tell us, strip away those colors. For example, rain is just rain. It's not a bad day. A bad day is the emotional label we decided to slap on it. When you strip away your judgments, these events lose their power over you.
And this even applies to physical pain. A Stoic sees pain not as a disaster, but as information. It's just a signal from the body that something needs attention. The pain might be in your leg, but you are not just your leg. Your mind, your consciousness, is separate and way bigger than the pain. You don't let the body's signal become the mind's master.
All right, so we've got our inner fortress built up. Now what? How do we use that strength to deal with all the inevitable challenges of the outside world? Like insults, betrayal, and just massive obstacles.
This right here is a total game changer. When someone insults you or does something wrong, our immediate impulse is to get angry. But the Stoic perspective reframes it. People do wrong things because, well, they don't know any better. Their actions are a reflection of their own ignorance or their own pain. So why on earth would you trade your inner peace for their problem? Their anger belongs to them. Don't make it yours.
We've all felt this. You've made plans, you're moving forward, things are going great, and then, bam! Life throws a giant, unmovable wall right in your way. A job loss, a failure, a major setback. And the first reaction is almost always frustration and despair.
But here it is, probably the most powerful idea in all of Stoicism. The obstacle is the way. That wall isn't stopping you, it's redirecting you. Marcus said we should be like a fire. You can throw anything onto a fire. Sticks, leaves, logs. It doesn't put the fire out. No, the fire consumes it and uses it as fuel to burn even hotter, even brighter. Your obstacle is your fuel.
So you see, this isn't just about coping with hard times. The ultimate goal of Stoicism is to live a truly good life, a life of purpose, of character, and of meaning, no matter what's happening on the outside.
For the Stoics, the only thing that's truly good is virtue. And this isn't about being some perfect saint. It's about living by these 4 principles. Everything else, money, fame, status, all of it can be taken from you in a heartbeat. But your character, that is the one form of wealth that no one can ever touch. Who you are as a person is the only thing that really matters in the end.
Okay, now this next one might sound a little dark at first, but stick with me, because it's actually one of the most life-affirming practices in all of Stoicism. Memento mori. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself every single morning that his time was limited. This wasn't to be morbid, it was to create a sense of urgency and clarity. Knowing that your time is finite forces you to stop wasting it on petty, trivial things and focus on what is truly important.
And so, this entire incredible philosophy really comes down to this one powerful question. It strips away everything that just doesn't matter. It's not about fear, it's about focus. It is the ultimate tool to make sure you're not just existing, but that you are truly living a life of purpose, courage, and inner peace, just like a Roman emperor.